Welcome off-roaders, my name is Pratik and you're watching Exhibit. The Jimny moniker has been around since the year 1970 and we as Indians got the taste of the Jimny in the form of a very cool name product, the Gypsy, in the year 1980s. Now the Gypsy was so popular that it was adapted by the Defense Ministry as well. And in its fourth avatar, Maruti has finally launched the newer Jimny for India. Thoughtfully so, the 5-door version. We have come to an off-road trail and we're going to put this car through various tracks and stages and see how exactly does this car perform off-road, and we're also going to drive it on road and let you know about everything that the Jimny offers. The Jimny has always been about this retro modern design form factor, and we've done an exclusive walk around of the Jimny on our sister concern channel. You can click up above and just go ahead and check that out. In case you don't want to go through another YouTube channel, I have you sorted. This is how the new fascia of the Jimny looks like. Dominating the entire silhouette of the Jimny is a boxy design. Now this one provides maximum volume inside, thereby the wheelbase on this one is 2590 mm despite it being sub 4 meter. The front of it also is a very nice and cute looking design. Now this is the Alpha variant. You also get the Zeta variant. You can check out all of those details later. The Alpha variant gets LED projector headlamps. It also gets chrome treatment up front and it gets this exclusive color. In person, the Jimny is very approachable. It's not like any of those behemoth SUVs that we actually find out in the 4x4 entire category. Well, as you can see, this is just right here, and these roof rails are also functional. Now, despite the 5-door design, the proportion looks really neat. And there's also this one little window up here that illuminates more light on the inside. The additional 15-inch wheel is mounted at the back right here. And aiding this entire process of the retro modern design is a request sensor at the back door along with hydraulic struts at the rear. Now, that's not just all. If you know about what I'm talking about, the Thar does not at all have any boot space, but this in here is quite ample enough to just go in here. Let's start off with the most curious seat in the Jimny, which is the rear seat. Now these doors, they allow you good ingress and egress angle, but the space is only strictly for 4 people. Now in here at the rear, you only get creature comforts of opening and closing the window through these window sensors, but apart from it, there's nothing. You only get shared cup holders at the rear, but this space is sufficient enough and has good amount of knee room and good amount of headroom. Sitting on the driver's seat of the Jimny reveals that this one has really developed into a very newer retro modern design. There's a large touch infotainment system and there's this gypsy styled dials which are analog. They also have amber lights to them, and there's also a digital console right in the middle which gives you information of just about everything, right from differential to even average fuel economy and more. Now in here, everything feels a whole lot familiar like most of the Nexa offerings. This is the Nexa steering wheel, just like the similar ways. Now what is different is the way this cabin has been designed. It's very functional. You also get a good grab handle for going off-road as well, and the HVAC control, everything in here. There are buttons right up here, and this one that we are driving is the 1.5 litre automatic version. This one comes with 4 gears, and that is a bit of a disappointment, but it helps off-road. The Jimny absolutely impresses off-road. I mean, we are going through some really rough roads right now. You can't even call them roads because these are just trails. And the way this car is composed inside, this level of composure is much better than what the Thar could offer, or maybe even the Gurkha. The 3-link suspension and the brake assisted limited slip differential allows this car to just glide over everything. In fact, the ride quality is so composed, it allows you to push this car even harder. You might want to get new tires for this though. On concrete roads, the 1.5 litre along with the 4-speed feels a bit stressed because it revs high, but off-road, this engine absolutely shines. There's ample amount of power to pull you up. There's ample amount of power to just throw this car everywhere that you point the steering wheel. And when it comes to the steering wheel, again, the steering wheel on road feels a tad bit more sprung, but off-road, it is absolutely apt for the kind of things that the Jimny is capable of. A part of experiencing the Jimny off-road also includes waterbedding, and with 210 mm of ground clearance, I think it would be a piece of cake for the Jimny to go swimming. We are driving the Jimny 1.5 litre automatic. Now this one comes with 4-speed gearbox. Yes, it's an old gearbox, but then it has its own tricks. It's mated to the 1.5 K15B series engine. Now this engine produces more performance as compared to the C series engines. Now it's very well apt for this particular size of a vehicle because it has great power to weight ratio for the Jimny. Driving the Maruti Jimny, you might think that according to the size, it would be as light to drive as any other Maruti, but it is not the case. In fact, this steering is almost as heavy as a Thar steering, and that is saying something, because when you're maneuvering this car, you will require some heft like a 4x4. So I would suggest that you go ahead and take a test drive of this vehicle, because despite the dimensions and exactly how this particular car looks, the way it handles like a thoroughbred 4x4 and will require some hand gymnastics when you're turning, especially at certain speeds. The best part about the Jimny is the amount of view that you get of the road. These large window panes, this squared off entire design gives you a huge view. There's a panoramic view of everything around you. And the NVH levels, they are so goddamn impressive. I mean, if this is in the competition of other 4x4, the entry-level 4x4s, this one is way above them when it comes to the NVH levels. Everything in here is very composed. In fact, what's really amazing is the 3-link suspension. No matter what kind of a road undulation that you go through, this car just glides over them as though it's running on air suspensions. It's just that pliant. And it's surprising because these are 15-inch rims and with large walls. Now, we also do understand that for off-road, we had a little less PSI in them as compared to the normal versions. And maybe that is also the reason why we have such a pliant ride right now. But even when the tire pressures are normal, this car surprises you with the way it handles road undulations and the way it just glides off-road. It's very beautiful. Do not go by the spec sheet of this car, because the spec sheet suggests that the K15 only produces 103 bhp and 132 Newton meters of torque. Now, when you compare them with raw numbers to other vehicles, they might feel a bit inadequate. But when you're driving this car off-road, especially off-road, during on-road, I don't think you ever extract that amount of power. But especially off-road, this car just feels adequate, sufficient. In fact, the amount of power to weight ratio that this car produces is almost equivalent to any other 4x4 that this car competes with. You get disc brakes up front and drum brakes at the rear. This is a configuration we have come used to by now. And on the Jimny, it does a very commendable job. The brakes are really neat. What aids that braking performance are these tires as well. These are dual-up Bridgestone tires. They're very good off-road and they're also good on-road. We drove this car through off-road conditions. We drove this car through various other on-road conditions as well. And what we really found out is that the chassis of this car is superbly balanced. In fact, this chassis can also sport a much high-powered engine than the one it's doing duty right now. The Jimny is a good car on roads, but an excellent car off-road. The power to weight ratio really helps, and whatever All Grip Pro brings to Suzuki Jimny, it's amazing. On that note, we hope that Maruti prices this particular vehicle much lower than the starting price of the 4x4 Thar and the 4x4 Force Gurkha. It would be even better if Maruti could undercut the 4x2 Thar and make it an even appealing package. Like, share, subscribe, and if you love the Jimny, go ahead and share this video with everybody who wants to know more about the Maruti Jimny.